Hi, I'm Alex King, founder of Adzoola, and I've got a very special guest with me today, Brett Curry, who's going to share a little bit about how he's used Adzoola in his business. But just before we dive into that, Brett, would you mind sort of introducing yourself and your business so people know who you are?
Sure. I am the CEO and co-founder of OMG Commerce, and we're a digital marketing agency. We serve e-commerce clients, and primarily we help with the Google Ads ecosystem, so search, shopping, and a lot with YouTube, which is the purpose of our discussion, and then also the Amazon Ads ecosystem. But yeah, we serve e-commerce clients and help them accelerate their growth.
Which is actually why I approached you about using Adzoola, hoping you'd find it useful for your clients. From your point of view, what problems were you having before using the software?
Yeah, so when you're working on researching how are we going to target our ideal prospect for a given customer, lots of ways we can go, and we like to test lots of different audiences and lots of different targeting types. But if you look at something like keyword research, so finding keywords on YouTube that we want to target, and finding placements, whether that's specific videos or specific channels, you either have to piece together different tools, or you just have to manually go search. And sometimes it's just easier for us to manually go and search, because piecing together, there weren't other tools for a lot of things, but we would have to use keyword research tools that are kind of tried and true from the SEO days. We used to do a lot of SEO, and there's some great keyword research tools out there. As we all know, keyword research tools are just estimates, purely estimates, and often not even very accurate estimates, but they are what they are. And so we were really attracted to Adzoola, one, based on the keyword research and keyword suggestion, keyword idea features, and then also some of the placement features. And so what I like about the keyword tools inside of Adzoola is that you're using the search suggest tool, right? And I think that's super insightful. I think it's just a simple way to find out what are people actually searching, for a few reasons. One, that's updated constantly, right? Google's always putting the most relevant, most related searches in that search suggest set. And a lot of people will start typing and then use that search suggest. So it's also influencing the way people search. So anyway, I think that's a great place to start as you're looking for keyword ideas. Adzoola has that all in the tool, and you can kind of click around on a few different options. If you're kind of struggling with ideas for keywords, had a client where we were looking for some hair loss related keywords, and so you just type in hair loss and look for ideas, and it'll give you all kinds of ideas to kind of go from. And then, I think even potentially a bigger pain point is if you're trying to find placements. What we would do in the past is we did this a lot for automotive clients and others, where we just go to Google and say, top automotive, top custom truck YouTube channels and something, and you just look for them, and then you find the URLs and you pull them in. And so with Adzoola, you can do some of that searching, and then you can export lists, and you can just see it all visually, export it all, get it all on a list. It's just super helpful. And then to be able to do both those things within the same tool also saves time. But I like it because it has the visual component, because I think sometimes you learn by looking at some of the videos and some of the titles and stuff that show up in the results. Adzoola pulls that in, and you can easily export your lists to put into a campaign. So extremely useful in those cases.
Great. So, like you mentioned, using other tools previously, what else did you try, or what didn't you like about those other tools that you used?
Yeah. So the other tools we use, no complaints about them, but they're really designed not for YouTube, right? So some of the other tools we've used are kind of your tried and true SEO tools or paid search tools, where you're getting keyword suggestions and keyword ideas and all of the related things, but it's really about Google search. That's the premise, that's the framework. And so those tools are useful for if you're building out a search campaign, but not as helpful for YouTube. And so really those tools were not designed with YouTube in mind at all. And so Adzoola really being geared towards someone looking at building successful YouTube campaigns, it's just a different framework and a different approach, and highly useful, when we're building out those YouTube campaigns.
What can you do now that you couldn't do before, if that wasn't covered in your previous answer?
Yeah, so it was mostly covered in the previous answer, but really streamlining the process of looking at great keywords that we can test and target, placements and channels that we can play, that we can target, downloading those into files that we can easily share with our team members, or post in a Slack channel for the client team to look at and evaluate, and just having that all pulled together rather than having to go to multiple places. And a lot of times what we would do is we would have our our lead specialists, or myself even in some cases, say, hey, I want research done on YouTube for these keywords, or go to Google and search for these types of channels like I was talking about. And then we'd have one of our support specialists just have to go and manually do all the work, right? Just manually go and search and, hey, copy and paste this URL or whatever, just really manual labor on some of those things that, we've got an awesome team. They're really eager to help and eager to get our clients results, but nobody likes to do a lot of copying and pasting. And so really Adzoola pulling all that together, making for easy searching, easy discovery, easy download into files that we can work with. Super useful.
I'd say out of all those things, what would be the number one thing that it helped you achieve that's now making your life a bit easier?
Yeah, so from feedback from the specialists, and so I'm not the only one using the tool, but it's other specialists on our team. The most pain relieving point of Adzoola was getting the placement lists, right? If you want to try to get a list of a few hundred placements, or dozens of channels or whatever, that's just really a laborious process. So that definitely is a big win, and heard lots of feedback that just super easy, and you can visually see things and then download it. I like the keyword aspect a lot too. The keyword research portion is really useful, and I think in a lot of ways easier than doing it manually. The way we manage campaigns, the way we structure campaigns, we're not running very many campaigns that have dozens or hundreds of keywords in them when we're doing YouTube campaigns. So I still love the keyword feature. It's super helpful, but yeah, removing the pain on the placement list side of things, that was a game changer.
Excellent. Have you had any results yet from using Adzoola? And if you have, want to talk about any of those?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a pretty standard approach to how we like to test campaigns. And as we get a new e-commerce client, we have pretty set ways of building our initial campaign set, and then expanding and testing from there with different, broader audiences and things like that. And so, the last 3 clients that we've launched on YouTube have been some of our more successful launches. And I think there's a lot going into that. I think there's increased YouTube traffic, there's increased online shopping, some of those things. Google's getting better with some of their audience building tools, and so yeah, we're seeing just a lot of success on YouTube, and that's been the case for several years. But it seems like in the last few months, based on increased traffic, based on some improvements YouTube's making, that things are even better. But some of those keyword campaigns are often the first couple of campaigns we run for a client, and we like to use those campaigns to kind of train the algorithm, so to speak, to start to build up some conversions in a new account, so that we can then scale. And so Adzoola's made that easy. Adzoola's made those keyword campaign creation aspects and the placement campaign aspects easy. And so definitely a component in making our process smoother and simpler.
I'm obviously glad to hear that. So if someone asked you why they should use Adzoola, what would you tell them? Is it similar to what you've said about the keyword tools, or what would you say to them?
Yeah, I think it's going to make things faster and easier. I think it's also going to be it's going to stimulate ideas as well. Because it combines the visual components, where you're seeing a lot of things you would see if you were in the platform. But in addition to that, then it has some of the ideas and suggestion tools that you can click on and find related keywords and other ideas. So I think it's gonna save time. It's gonna make things easier. It's also going to help fuel ideas because, you know, the groundwork you lay in the beginning of mapping out for a client or for your own business, these are the audiences we want to test. This is kind of our progression of testing. Let's, you know, and then we have to really inform that with research, and Adzoola helps in that process tremendously.
Great. And is there anything else that you think that I've missed that other people might want to know before trying out Adzoola?
I don't think so. I think it was really good. And one other thing I might add is, you know, we're still relatively new to the tool, right? We've only been using it now for a few months. So we're also confident that there's more that we can be using and more that we can benefit from the tool. But so far, the ways we've used it have been very helpful.
Perfect. Well, thanks very much, Brett, for sharing your thoughts on Adzoola. Great. Hopefully we'll speak to you again.
Absolutely. You bet. Thank you.
Thanks.